So I'd like to recap quickly on these two journeys and think about how they map onto one another. We begin in the infirmary of the camp as the Red Army is approaching. This in the middle of what he calls a thaw. It's a thaw because the winter is ending in a literal sense, but also because in another sense, things are melting. This snow and ice, as the snow and ice retreat, we see what they were hiding. Facts come to light, frozen facts come to light. Numbness starts to fade, feeling becomes possible again. After the thaw, he moves to different camps. In one of them, he meets the Greek. In another, he meets Cesare. Then we have Victory Day, and we have a variety show put on by Russian soldiers based on Russian folklore. And we'll see that theater and folklore will be provide key forms of indirect narration in this book. Forms, in fact, means of bringing the internal world, mental world, psychological world, and the external reality into sync with each other. They're all supposed to go to Odessa to get a ship back to Italy, but they never get there. Instead, their journey loops back and takes them back up north. And the psychological journey too will proceed with loops and setbacks and diversions and delays. The longest set piece of the novel is Levi's time in a camp called Starie Dorogi. This time it's in Belarusia. And this camp is surrounded by the woods. They're recounted as being a kind of enchanted forest. This is a folkloric world in the way it's narrated to us. It's shot through with fable and myth. And in this part of the novel, you'll remember that various events that seem to recall folk tales are literalized. So Levi gets lost in the woods. In the woods, we also find mysterious houses and people, figures who are sometimes threatening, sometimes offer almost magical forms of help. In reality, Levi was in this camp from the middle of July till the middle of September, but it's recounted here as a lifetime, a historical eternity. This is one of the effects of the sort of enchanted forest that surrounds it. And in this place, this strange, enchanted, suspended place, all of the human life repressed by the Nazis is reborn in strange, miniature, mythical forms. A key model here is a person called the Veletrano, who lives like a hermit in the forest. And he retraces, all on his own, in a miniature, accelerated form, the development of human civilization, from the invention of tools all the way up to agriculture. The truce, in other words, of the title, is also a retreat into the forest of the mind, a pause in which one can rediscover and rebuild. Life, even in some of its most basic and simple aspects, needs to be reconstructed from scratch in a miniature, theatrical, often comical form. I'd also like to note that in this chapter we have the prisoners get to see the inmates of the camp get to see 3 films which are recounted in great detail. And finally, another play with a song called The Three-Cornered Hat that I'll talk about in a moment. Just to emphasize how important theater, song, film are in this world, in this journey. After this camp, we have a long, long train journey southwest towards Turin. By the time we get to it, to the final chapter called The Reawakening, it feels as if we too, the reader, have been in a dream. Theater, films, strange songs are given a similar level of reality to everything else that is recounted. We have a sense of very vivid, brutal reality, and simultaneously a sense of a kind of mythic, folkloric unreality. This intervening world, this enchanted forest, if you like, that takes place in between Auschwitz and ordinary life, is a moment of preparation, regeneration, and restoration.